Good morning, good morning. How are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. I am Art Walker 170 and I am hoping to teach you how to hatch. I'm going to have to move this out of the way for a moment. As you can see here, how you doing? Oishu, nice to see you. Thank you for joining me. As you can see here, I have a pencil drawing of the male back. And as you know, I offer this service for free. So if you like what you see, please hit the like button. If you really like what you see, please share my live with all your friends and we can all grow together on our quest to get better at drawing. As you can see here, this is quite a complex example of hatching and line work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the basics of line work. I'm going to talk you through the different types of line work. As you can see here, I've got another example. Okay, that's all right. We will just keep going. Another example here of some hatching and line work. And this is a little bit more of a freestyle example, but it does give you an idea of the different styles of line work that you can achieve. This is a lot more of a gradient type finish. I haven't used anything apart from a pencil, no blending brush, anything like that. And you can highlight and create shading purely with the pencil or with the pen. These were all done with the Bic pen or just a standard ballpoint pen, I should say, not Bic actually. And I will take you through how I did this kind of stuff and how I worked with the pencil as well. How you doing, Tiffany? Nice to see you. Ah, yeah, Tiffany. I remember you actually. Isn't it funny? I remember your profile picture. I do remember. I think you made contact with me, didn't you? I think so, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm going to take you basically through some styles of hatching, right? So if we've got the human body here again, this is all done with the pen. And as you can see, this is a very much more structured way of hatching the human leg, right? The human anatomy, very dynamic. And then you have more cross hatching, right? So I'm going to explain the difference between hatching, cross hatching, and how you can use it best for your artwork, and you can experiment as well, as you can see I've done here. So let's get into this. I'm just going to put this to the side and hopefully it doesn't, well, if I can leave it on screen that would be good, but I don't think I can. I'll put it up there for now. So I hope you all have got a pen, and if you like what you see, please hit the like button. And thank you for sharing, Yomi. That is really nice of you. So what I do is, this is something you have to practice. See that? Simple lines, right? And you cannot practice that enough. So if you really want to get better at drawing, learn to draw simple lines. I know it sounds really, really basic, but it's very, very important. Can I ask a question? Do you draw? It depends. Very good question, actually. It depends on how big the drawing is, right? So say, for example, here, it's simply wrist motion, very much wrist motion. However, you know, here, if I have vertical here and I go horizontal, I use I'm more or less using the whole arm. But you have to be in tune with your muscle memory, because you have to know to stroke the pen at the same sort of pace. However, you can also turn the paper, which is a bit of a cheat, where you go like this. You can use the motion of the wrist again, right? So you don't have, I find that if I draw horizontal lines like this, they end up a little bit wonky, as you can see. However, my cheat is I draw my vertical because the wrist motion is truer to me. So I can quickly do these, do the tuck, tuck, tuck. And if I want vertical, I know that this is not what I want. I usually go back to vertical again. However, I now have my horizontal, if you understand what I mean. When I turn it back, I've got my horizontal. Yeah, is that where you get that now, right? So let me just see what's going on in chat. Thank you for the question, by the way. Much appreciate that. Because I wouldn't have come up with that, actually. So I do appreciate that. Hello, Tiffany. So I said that already. Excuse me, I've just scrolled a little bit too high. Yeah, got that one. You're amazing. You're welcome, Rich. Hopefully you will use it. Use this knowledge and share your knowledge as well. Can you... A crumpled sleeve. Yeah, we'll get round to that. You have to wait for that one. At the moment, I just want to stick to the basics first. You fold. Yeah, you struggle with folds. I will touch on that. Just hang in there. I'm going to try and keep this one short, half an hour, but I will do that for sure. It's very important not to tense up the wrist, and it's very important to practice. Very important to practice. So what I would say is simply horizontal, and you can combine vertical, right? So you go horizontal, you go vertical. So now I'm using the whole arm, right? You try and keep them as parallel as possible. Then you go diagonal. Try and keep it as parallel as possible. We're only human. We don't get it right every time, but we keep going. And again here, now this is just the motion of my fingers here, all right? And then what you do is you combine the first two. So you go horizontal and vertical. And then what you do is you go, always practicing it again, right? Horizontal and vertical again, combined. Sorry, that was vertical first, excuse me. I'm making it all up as I go along. And then you combine your diagonals with it. So now this is what we call a crosshatch. See that? So that is a crosshatch. So that is what you need to practice as well. So if you are, this is like a hatch pattern that you would apply to something like this. However, we've got curved lines. So this is where you practice this kind of stroke. See that? You practice that kind of stroke. You see that? Different directions. And as you can see, I'm feathering it out at the end. I feather it out at the end. Here, the lines were very, very flat and straight. Do you see what I'm saying? So they're very flat and straight, but here, I'm pressing a little bit harder at the beginning and then feathering it out at the end, lightening the weight of the pencil at the end. Oh, thanks. That's nice. Okay. Yeah. You need to just be as relaxed as possible. 3D square. You're so bad. That's not. Yeah, it's not part of what we're going to study here. But I'm just going to do it really quickly. If you just draw one square and a square behind it, you've got your 3D square, mate. That's maybe a little bit rectangular, but I don't know if I can help you much after that. Light source, yeah. Yeah, you must have been going for hours. That's for true. That's for sure. How does? Yeah, this is a basic one. We're not going to go into the deeper stuff yet. But if you go onto my YouTube, there is one on clothing on my YouTube, Art Walker YouTube. Can't see what you're drawing. Yeah, you have to practice it. You have to practice, and it depends on the size. Semicolons, how you doing? So let's get a little bit more into shading, right? So like here, I've gone over let's call it one run of shading, right? So if I go one run of shading again, and I'm feathering it out at the end, right? See that? trying to keep the lines as parallel as possible. So now what you can do is you can add some variation to that. I'm going to start pressing at the lower end and releasing at the top here, right? So look at this. And what do you recognize? And I'm going to go over it again, pressing a little bit harder, feathering it out at the end. And what do you now recognize? Oh, thank you for the subscription. Sim, it's 4 a.m. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. These are the basics, right? Trust me. If you get these basics right, you can end up drawing stuff like that. That is the goal, right? So when you see me present a drawing and it looks like that, this is the technique I use. Obviously, you have to understand the anatomy and so on, but you can get to this level and use these tools to create that kind of effect. You have to check it on your side. I have a very clear screen. I have no idea what you mean, because my screen is clear. I will shift the comments. Hopefully, I don't know how that would affect you because the camera shouldn't be picking up my comments. Does that make a difference? And thank you for the gifts, by the way. So let's do it again. Another run. Very, very gentle in the beginning and feather it out. I'm going to press a little bit harder. See? So we've got this almost hair type. Your pencil has to be a good sharpness as well. And watch when I vary the weight of the stroke. Look at what it does to the actual hatch pattern. It gives you that variation, right? So now we've got, if this is like a fold of some description or hair, you can see that we've got light patches and we've got dark patches. And that's due to the fact that I'm pressing a little bit harder. Do you see that? I can give you a drawing, a head drawing method that is my own, actually. Not necessarily Lumi's. How would you draw the hair? Yes, I would draw it in like the hair. Hair is individual strokes, but then what you do is you have to start very, very lightly. Like you see here, you start very, very lightly, and then you gradually add the variables. Let's call them the hairs that are slightly darker, slightly more hidden, and then you've got a tuft of hair. Hello, Vietson. Yeah, no problem. That's why I'm here, mate. So if you like what you see, just hit the like button. So that technique is good for if you're doing eyebrows. You see that? You can draw eyebrows very, very quickly, and then you can use that technique to draw eyelashes as well. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can use that. If you haven't seen my eye drawing tutorials, you should check those out, because then I explain how you draw eyelashes. And obviously we are just simply using hatch technique, and we've got pretty cool looking eyelashes already. And thank you for the rose. Has anyone got any questions? Divine Day, you're more than welcome. To all of those that are in here, you're more than welcome. Just hit the like button, share this information with your friends. I was practicing eyebrows last night. Yeah, we can touch on that. Why not? Well, I did study architecture, actually. Isn't that funny? Sim, if you're drawing, even though this is not an eye drawing tutorial, but as you're already on my YouTube, you probably might find one on there. When you're drawing the eyebrows, I'm going to grab a pen. Hold on, because I can illustrate it easier. If you're drawing eyebrows, think about the direction. See these little arrows that I'm drawing? And usually the eyebrows at the middle, they're standing up, and then they gradually tilt to the point that they're going downwards here. So what you have to do is your hair that you're drawing gradually tilts downwards to the point that you've got, I'll do it again here. And all I'm doing is correcting this line so the hairs tilt downwards. That's all I'm doing. They'll just tilt downwards. Then I've got my eyebrows. And what you could do is you can add another one or two slightly stray ones, right? If just slightly stray. They don't have to be all perfect. And that makes the eyebrows a little bit more realistic. You're welcome. You're more than welcome. Makes sense. Yeah, that works. So think of it like that. Think of it as the hair going upwards like here, and then gradually going down in that direction. And thank you for the subs. That's probably what it is. Yeah, because my screen is clear. I see everything. There's nothing on my screen. So let's get into this. So we've gone into hatching a little bit. There's another hatch technique where you can what's the one I'm gonna say? You make a stroke and then you double the stroke. So you add a bit of thickness to it. So you go 1, 2, 1, 2. So you've got a slightly thicker base. See that? My base here. So I'm stroking it, and then I swipe it. So I'm making the base a little bit heavier. So this is a technique you can see when you when you read Marvel comics. You see they have this fatter base on their hatch line. So this is a technique that you can look at and practice. Just make the base a little bit heavier and then stroke it. See that? It's totally different from this one. And then you could do it even broader and then stroke it. And broader and then stroke it. See that? That's a technique you can also use. Ariana, nice to see you. I'm late. No, these are not all eyebrows. These are just hatch techniques. We're just doing hatch techniques. Yeah? So I'm going to show you quickly here, right? So, right, we've got one example here of hatching, right? So this is a more freestyle hatch technique. So what I would recommend you do is, obviously you don't have to draw something like this, right? But what you do is you grab an object, or you just draw an object. Say, for example, you just draw a few circles, right? But we're going to turn these into three-dimensional objects. So that means these will become spheres. They will become spherical objects. So what I would suggest you do, you just draw a few spherical objects like that. And then you apply these techniques to these spheres. You can only see the first 4 lines. You need to check something your side. There is not. Is everybody else seeing this? That's really odd. That is really odd. Because I don't know. Is everyone seeing this fully? 100%. Can everyone see this number 1? And everyone see this number 2 here? Can you guys see that? The others need to clear the comments because my comments are on the side. I can't see them. That is so odd. I don't know what to say because I can't adjust it any other way. Let me push that up a little bit. It's visible, right? Yeah, good. I think so because I can't. I'll have to put the phone on my ceiling. Oh, you can see the 1 now. Okay, that's really odd. That's really odd. You can see everything. Thank you. Good. So, check out this, right? So we've got this, let's call it this cross hatch here. So be careful when you hatch things because when you hatch three-dimensional objects, with straight lines, what does it do to this object? What has it done to this object? Imagine that should be three-dimensional. Exactly. So that's what you have to do. That's what you have to remember. When you are hatching something, you can hatch with multiples, right? So let's go, if we curve these lines like this, see that? So now I've curved the lines, and you can tidy this up by just rubbing out this line here. So I'm rubbing a line out, so it looks like the light source is coming from here. So if we're shining a light onto this ball here, you can see that it's got some shading around here, and we have a lot of light here. Yeah? So that's important. And then what you do is, say if we've got one run of hatch here, the lower you get, the darker it becomes. So I'm going to go, not directly from the top, I'm going to go 5 millimeters down and add another layer of hatch. And then I'm going to go 5 millimeters down again and add another layer of hatch. And then I'm just going to add a line here. You getting that? Anyone not getting that? See, now we've turned this ball into a 3D object just with hatching. Ah, oh, yeah. And what I would suggest you do is practice it, but don't press any harder. Just add another layer of hatch. Do you understand what I mean? So say, for example, if I go, I'm going to do the same thing here, right? So we've got these verticals here, right? So let's say that's 1, and then I'm going to number them. I'm going to go, this is 1 to here. Let's go 2. Let's go 3. Let's go 4, right? So what do I mean? Why have I done it backwards? See, so this is run 1, and now I'm going to do run 2 up until this point here. So I'm going to keep the separation roughly the same. Only to here. That's run 2. I'm going to go run 3 to here. Starting from this point. And then I'm going to go 4 to this point. You see now? And now we've got this gradient. So that's basically what I've done here. See? Run 1 was the first run of lines, right? We can tidy that up a bit. Run 2 was up to here. 3 and 4 and so on. Thank you for the follows, by the way, and the kind gifts. Has anyone got any questions about that? And the same can be done here. If this is run 1 of hatching, I'm going to go to here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then I'm going to go to 2, same stroke. This qualifies as the second run. Third run to here. Fourth run to here. And now we have that gradual fade. You see that? That's how I did this. Thank you, King. Thank you. These are the little things that you have to practice, right? Have to practice these things, because that is where all of that magic takes place. And then obviously here we've gone a little bit more advanced, right? So if we've got the shoulder, if we've got a human shoulder here, like I've drawn here, right? So we've got this shoulder here. We've got the rough shoulder shape here. And then what I'm thinking about is, where are the dips in the muscle, right? So let's just add a couple of random dips in this muscle. Like so. And that's the question I would ask, all right? And then where do they connect? They probably connect like this. So the questions I ask myself when I am presented with an image and I want to hatch it in this type of style is how does the body curve and what areas are being hit by light? Because all I'm doing here is displaying where the light is here and where the dips in the muscle are. Let me just see. I appreciate this content. I applaud you on. Oh, thank you. Nobody cares. Yes, that's true. I do care, actually. I do care. So if you guys care as well, please just hit the like button, share with your friends, blah, blah, blah. I want to get people off devices. I know we're on devices. However, I want to use this device to encourage people to draw. Oh, this is a rubber. This is actually a rubber. I've got two different rubbers. This is a rounded tip, slightly rounded, and this is a square tip. So learning to use the rubber properly is very important as well. It becomes as important as the pencil to an extent. Adler, I am doing good. Yeah, it's only been a week. It's only been a week. So look at this. So if we've got this here, it's pretty much repeating this kind of pattern here. That's all it is. That's all it is. I have to think, I want this area to be slightly darker here and here. We've got the dip in the muscle here. I want it to be slightly darker here and here. But I want it to curve and follow the muscle. So what I will do is I'm going to go to my left, hatch to my left, straighten up, and then go to my right. Does that make sense? So I'm going to my left, straightening it up, and then goes to my right. Blessings from Peru. Yeah, we're doing a bit of everything, a bit of cross-hatching, and understanding how light affects our hatch. So, for example, on body parts. So that's how I did that. And let me just continue that. So as I said, I start at this lowest point here. So that would be my darkest point. To this point here would be darker again. So let's darken that up. I'm going to slow down under pressure because I want the mound of the muscle to be well lit. Then I will start again here. So I'm indicating these dips. I'm going to press a bit harder just to show you what I mean. You see, so now I've indicated these dips. And like I showed you here, if that's wrong layer 1 or stroke 1, then I'm going to go stroke 2 and 3. And then now you can see the muscle. We've got a dip in the arm. Let's do it again here. We've got one run of lines. Let's go again. So we're going 2. And then we're going 3. And then we're going 4. And now all of a sudden, we've got an object that looks like it's undulating with tone. Cross hatching is cool, but it's quite difficult because there's a lot of thought that you have to put into it, and you have to be very aware of your strokes. You have to be aware of how you use your pencil. That's important. You can't just press. You have to know, right, where do I want darker patches? Where do I want lighter? How do I want it to undulate with regards to where you've got muscles connecting here? See that? So that's how we do it. And then every now and again we stretch it out. And then you start to get into your flow. And then you've got a nice hatch. So this is a simple hatch. It's not a cross hatch. This is because it's all going in the same direction. But this is more like a cross hatch, where you've got random hatch. I say random, but you've got varying types of hatch on the same area. So let's do that on here. Right, so we've got structured, quite structured here. You know, we can tidy that up a little bit. But let's go cross hatch now on here. So I'm going to go in one direction. The principle is the same. Then I'm going to go another direction, another direction. So this is where we're adding a crosshatch. It's a little bit more of a wilder affair, but it depends on what style of artwork you have, because you might like that. You can develop your own hatch style where it's quite, what's the word, lively. See, because this is nice. It's a nice style as well. You could go for that, but maybe it doesn't suit what you want. I tend sometimes to go like this. You can see the light here. You can see where the arm has less light here, tone and stuff like that. And you can see the muscle definition. That will be this style. Again here, you see many different directions to illustrate where shading is, for example. Darker areas here and so on. How you doing, Seeker? I think we're doing all right today. Yeah, it's hatching is it's fun because you can create your own hatch. Do you see what I'm saying? You can, like now, you could go on that and you could work a little bit harder on that, and that looks nice. Do you see what I'm saying? And obviously you can use hatching for let's say let's make a gap in this here. Right, so where's my rubber? Let's make a little gap in that. So it's got a chunk taken out of this here, right? I have to be careful how I draw this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some hatching to illustrate a shaded area. You see that? So now we've got something missing. Looks almost like a Pac-Man, you know? And that's how we use that for techniques like that. Is that good for you? And then obviously, as you can see, my pencils, I have quite long tips on my pencils. This is also for hatching, but it's more for the shading. This is more for shading. You see that? Because I like to tip the pencil quite flat. And then now I'm shading it. See that? And then what I do is I press hard, not very, very hard, harder and then softer. And now we've got the effect of having some sort of ball. And that's why I have the long tip pencil. And then obviously you've got these smudge brushes which you can use, which are really quite good. I haven't used a smudge brush on this yet, but you can see it's quite effective. Let's do it again here. I'll take a look in the chat in a minute. Just give me a second. Oh, I've got something underneath here. So, as you can see, the way I've gripped the pencil is also different. But this will help you, say, for example, if you want to create different effects, right? So you see, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go purely shading, and I'm going to add some variation to the shade. So this is when we start to work on different effects. Because now this almost looks like some sort of stone. Because the hatch pattern is a little bit unvaried. You see that? Yeah, well, I like to grip it like this. So for example, maybe not so much for this type of hatch, because I want it to be here. I want it to be quite sharp, right? So if you want it to be sharp, you're going to hold the pencil like this, quite high up. So you got the tip. But then if you want a broader stroke, that's where you drop the pencil down. You see that stroke's automatically broader. See that? That's what I do. And then you can, as I say, because everyone's got their, I don't know, what would you call it? Their favorite direction, right? So my favorite direction is probably going upwards like this. And then what you do is if you find that you've got a sharp point, like that is quite sharp, you might have to turn the pencil to, there you go, to find the flat of the pencil. Because then you can do the same thing and it looks sharp, like so. But when you want the flat, you have to maybe turn the pencil and go like that. See that? Totally broader stroke. And it's a nice stroke actually, because it looks almost italic. See that? Almost computer generated, even though it's not. So this is what you have to experiment with. So when you're drawing, you have to really sit down and calculate what is happening and why. And then you can get some really cool effects just with the pencil. Oh, I've got mechanical ones. I've got some here. I have no problem with that. I've got some mechanical, because mechanicals are good, for example, when you want to, and this is something I would practice as well, practice curves. And if you want your stroke to stay very consistent, the mechanical pen is very good, because every stroke has a 0.5 or 0.7, depending on what pen it is. It has that stroke. It doesn't vary. But with the pencil, it can vary slightly, but that could be something you want. That could be something you want. I think... Oh, okay. Well, writing, I have no idea. I have no idea. Oh, hello. Oh, thank you, Adrian. Wow, for that very kind gift. Much appreciated. And if you do like this type of tutorial, check my live, because I've got tons of tutorials like this. Thank you very much, Adrian. Hold on. Can I draw something? The Puppy Wop. I like that name. What should I draw? I don't know. Why do you not believe me? Adrian's going gift mad. Thank you. I don't know. Okay, I won't even read that name, but anyway, looks interesting. Which one do you prefer? No, you don't have to apologize. No, it's not. No. So, say for example, if I draw, I don't know, if I draw something and a person's arm, all right. So I'm going to draw an arm. You see, I've got very clean lines. I'm going to add some detail to the arm here, and then elbow. I'm just going to do this very quickly. So if it's not 100%, please bear with me. Like so, right? So we've got an arm sketched up very quickly. So how would I hatch that? I would think about where the muscles are, right? I definitely think of that. I would try and recognize where it dips, and then I would add with this mechanical pen my shading. Like so. So then I'm adding some more at the back here. And then I'll add a little bit more around the tricep here. I'm going to take that in a little bit. And then you can see it starts to take shape. And you could, like I drew here. No, that's the, well, it doesn't matter. I could just use that one. Like the bone here is the same. You see that? I just build up the hatching. I'm thinking where the light is, and it should be here. And I want the muscle, I don't want it to follow the muscle. So that's why I'm going in this direction and not in another direction, unless I want to do some sort of cross hatch. But for me, that's good. I know the muscle dips here. And that's how I would hatch a basic arm. Oh, 21 comments. Thank you for the gift again, Adrian, the Wild Force. I don't think I've ever received one of those. Thank you very much. Which size pencil is the best in general? Well, these drawings here, I've drawn only with the HB. So the HB is very, very versatile. 2B is also a really good one. I'm not drawing a dinosaur, no. Sorry about that. My boobs in bio. I don't know what that's about, but never mind. You're my thank you very much. Thank you for the rose, Adrian. Again, what do you guys draw? No, please don't spam. Please don't spam. I don't want to throw anyone out of the chat, right? Very good. Thank you, semicolon. Right, so I look like I'm getting a bit of spamming as well. Not from, how do I know where to shade? So say for example, if I look at this image here, you have to work out where your light source is and where the muscle dips. See, like here, I'm just going to shade it. So I've combined two styles now. I've combined hatching and shading. And the reason I'm shading it here is because that's where the muscle actually meets. And obviously here we could shade it around here because that would be close to the body. Here would be slightly darker because that's where the muscles like connect. And obviously when you're drawing like manga stuff, you see they use a different technique where they use block shading, where they just do a block like this. See that? So that's another shading method where you just do a block, and that would be more manga style and very straight, very angular, like so. See that? And that's how you can achieve that kind of hatch. Oh, there's a tons in the chat. How do you find your star? Hold on. Have you ever been stressed learning something specifically to draw? Yes. Stress is all part of it, but if you take your time, and build up, you'll gradually get to any level that you want. You just have to be patient. No, I'm not drawing a car. No. This is only about hatching. So say, for example, even something like this is quite complex. So if I was to draw that, you have to learn to look at things very, 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 very accurately, right? So if I'm drawing that very, very quickly, I'm going to draw it here on the side. So I'm looking at the bone here, and then you've got this variation in the bone here. I'm just going to blitz this, right? So I did actually draw this live in a live stream, and it took me about an hour and a half, and it was all done with the pen, right? So you have to try and remember to take in as much information as you can, as quickly as you can. As you can see, I'm trying to do this quite quickly. And then when you're sketching, don't worry too much about making mistakes. Get into the flow of sketching, right? So I know there are things here that are not 100% perfect, but I'm just ignoring them because you don't want to get blocked, because you're going to block yourself out. You're going to get stressed and you're going to grab the paper and throw it away. That happens. Trust me. You will. It will bring you to tears. Drawing will bring you to tears, guaranteed. And this is why it's good to experiment, because don't experiment on your best artwork. Please do not do that, because if it goes wrong, it's really not nice. See, so that's how. And as you can see, I'm just flowing, right? I'm not concentrating too much on the proportions yet. However, you can see I'm working very quickly. That's maybe a little bit too long there, but I can always tidy that up later on. So this finger's a little bit long. I'm going to add the fingers to lower, even smaller. The key, I think, is to just keep moving with the pen. And then after that, then you add all the details. I won't do it on this one, but I just wanted to show you quickly how I would draw this. And that's how I drew it. If you like what you see, please hit the like button. And oh, Sim, hold on, I forgot about the style thing. Thank you, Ben. What a fan base! I'll tell you what. There's some. I really love doing the lives, and I really like to encourage people to draw. That's why I do it for free. But if you guys can jump on my YouTube, and maybe they will pay me one day, because this channel doesn't want to pay me. All my life, pretty much. Yeah, all my life. Yes. Add more lines, but like I said, say for example here, don't press harder. Don't press harder. Say for example here, if we've got this area here that's darkened, right? So we've got this triangular shape here, right? So what I'm going to do is to darken it. I'm not going to press and I'm just going to go level 1 hatch. Say for example, same pressure. Level 2, same pressure, but I'm just not going as far. See that? We've hatched it up. I did some mech stuff as well. Some cyberpunk. I used to like doing cyberpunk stuff. Yeah, that you'll get you. I've done that as well. Yeah, it can bring you to tears. I don't cry anymore. I just kind of control it and draw something else. I'm getting better now. That you get rid of that in time. Thank you, Adriana. How do you draw the arm? Yeah, I think this is a different tutorial. I will do if you're into this kind of stuff, I'll do one on the human arm. And yesterday, if you missed that one, that was a good one. It was on how to draw the leg. Where have I hidden that? I think I've hidden it. Where is it now? But I did one on how to draw the human leg. Not this one. It was more from the front, but I haven't got it here. So if you jump onto my YouTube, you'll find that one. And I did it step by step in a live stream. So, how long I've been drawing? I've been drawing pretty much all my life, but now I'm really pushing it to get better. I never did it to get better. I used to just draw, but now I'm like, I've got goals, my own goals. So you'll see my work change, and you'll see the subject matter change, and I'm going to be offering a lot of tutorials as well. That's my goal as well. How do you decide in what direction? Yeah, the direction is up to you, because what I would do is I would just experiment, right? But what you have to do is understand shading. You have to understand where the darker areas are. Where the darker areas are, the direction is up to you, because Like Sim, I think, asked about your style. You might have a different style. So you might do hatching that goes in totally different directions, right? It doesn't make it wrong. It just, that is how you develop your own style. So this is my style of drawing. I draw like this all the time. See that? This is more freestyle hatching. You can see I've emphasized the pectoral here, underneath here, darker. You just see what I mean? And I like to break things down like that. And as you can see, lines and circles. That's how I managed to get that done. And here we are just working with lines, right? So if I want to take this to the next level, then I start fine-tuning and putting the heavier lines down. The lines that are important to me, I start adding them. As you can see, I use long strokes. Huh? I don't do this. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong, because some people have a style like that, and it's due to the fact that they don't have the self-confidence. So when they draw a circle, they draw 500 lines to draw a circle. Aim to just draw 1 or 2. That's your goal. And this, if you go a couple times, then you search for the right line, and then you're on the right track. Damn. Yes, it's Art Walker. I'm on YouTube. I'm called Art Walker. Yes, they are crossed like that. That is a semicolon. Yes, they are. Check it out. Look at your arm. The top part is here, and the other part is under here. Yes, that is how the human arm looks. Not an alien arm. Or maybe your arm's different. I don't know. You can watch this on YouTube. I'm recording it now. Your mind is blown. Why? Why? Getting better, King. Thank you, Adriana. I appreciate that. Yeah, jump on my YouTube. That's where all the videos are. All free, mate. All free. I don't know how to draw hands. Official artist. Go to my YouTube and look it up. And I think there's a video, and it's about 3 minutes long, on how to draw hands. And it's literally, if you look it up, type in Crooked House on YouTube. Crooked House. And that, I guarantee you'll be drawing hands within 10 minutes. Guarantee. And if anything, tomorrow, I might even do a hand drawing tutorial tomorrow, based for beginners. And then I'll do another one more advanced with stuff like that. Yeah, my YouTube is Art Walker. An old art teacher killed my love for drawing. I haven't drawn. Oh no, that's not good. You know what? I work in a school, and there are so many people that can't draw, and they have found their love for drawing. So hang in there. You only draw faces. Yeah, I'm going to do one on drawing the human skull, actually. I was planning on doing that, but I like to practice these things first, so then I've got a way that I can teach people. Absolute beginners, you know. I don't do medical drawings, but I have been doing a lot of... let me just grab it. This was anatomy week, so I've been drawing just the anatomy this week, and that's what I've been coming up with now. So, and then maybe next week I'll probably end up doing anime week, anime female week. So I just do this just to challenge myself, so you can see the levels that I take my artwork to. And I don't know if you know, but what's happening to the feed? I usually don't use a pencil. I usually draw straight with the Bic. So if you haven't seen that, I usually draw a lot. Most of my live streams are drawn. Oops, when it works. It seems like it's dying, this pen. But if I'm drawing a leg, I'm just going to sketch this up quickly just to see. And if you're a beginner, don't be scared of using the Bic or the Biro pen to do your practice work with. Because I find that when you use the Biro, I shouldn't use that brand name actually because it's not actually a Biro. But when you use the pen, it teaches you to ignore the mistakes that you make. Right, so if I'm sketching this up, this pen's dying. But if I'm sketching this up very quickly, you find that a lot of my live streams are done with pens because I like to differentiate muscle tissue and hatching and so on. And that's how I draw with the Bic pen. I keep saying Bic. It's not a Bic pen. The Biro pen. And then what I would do is, and as I said, use these types of pens to build your confidence. And then like now it's going to look, no, let's use red. I'm going to follow the muscle, the shape of the muscle, right? Because I don't want to flatten the muscle. And then now I've got this peak of light on the muscle itself. And then we've got the muscle just on the knee, and we've got the kneecap here. And then we would just hatch under the kneecap because it would have a less light, for example. And as you can see, it's taking shape. We've got a human thigh, but you can use the Bic pen. Like so. Obviously you take a little bit more time than me. I'm just flying through this like a lunatic. But I don't want to bore you. But that shows you how you can use these types of pens as well. Have a great day. Thank you, Sim, for hanging in there. I need to go. Oh, it was only supposed to be half an hour. Let me just fly through the questions quickly. By the way, your account grew from the what? Merely 7 viewers. Yes, Wandering Magician, and you were with me in the early days. I remember. I remember you, Wandering Magician. YouTube handle is Art Walker. My YouTube handle is Art Walker. Just the same as my TikTok, Art Walker, and there are about 90 videos on there. And I'm going to do some new, hopefully over the Christmas, I'm going to do some edited videos. So they literally will be talking about how to foreshorten the hand or the fingers, and they will be short videos without any interruption, just stage by stage. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to edit my videos. Thank you, semicolon. Yes, the crooked house hand drawing technique. Thank you. I wish you all a good day to all those that are leaving. Wandering Magician, we are all practicing. We are all practicing. No, of course your arm crosses. Go for an X-ray. Or maybe you're an alien. I'm not sure. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm joking. I just can be. First bullies. Our teacher was trying to help me by in my work. Oh no. I try not to get too involved in other people's work, and that's why I don't even comment on other people's work. Really, skulls are hard. I'll help you with that, Sim. Don't worry. This is so tough. Wicked. Have a great day. Okay. You're welcome. I love that. Cheers. Ah. Isn't it funny? Where is that drawing? I drew the feet yesterday. I haven't posted it yet. And it looks pretty cool, actually. Can't find it. Oh, there it is. This is not the finished drawing. The finished drawing, but there you go. You can see we were drawing the feet yesterday. And I've got a finished drawing and it's on this kind of level. The feet are also on this kind of level. But that was the live stream I did yesterday on leg anatomy. And as you can see, I went into, the bone was drawn in blue. And then the muscles were drawn in red. So that's what I do a lot. I tend to use a lot of different colors. And as you can see, it's all drawn live with the bit. So there's, it's doable. It's all doable. Right. Okay. I need to hurry quickly. Goodbye, King. Always start basic. Always practice. Dog eater. That's what I would do. Year-wise, all my life, but I've really only been concentrating on really hardcore drawing over the last year since I've been on TikTok. You're welcome, Nino. Check out your post. If you @mention me, anyone that @mentions me, I will check the post, guaranteed. I just realized you got more views on TikTok. Yeah, I'm not doing any YouTube lives yet. Adam, stick with me, mate. I will turn your life around. I will turn your life around. I guarantee you that. I just noticed most of the time arms look like connected chain. I'm not sure if I understand what that means. Free lesson, yes. Thank you very much. I need a Patreon. You know what? I'm going to write that down. Patreon, because I don't, as you guys know, I'm not going to take my violin out. I don't get paid for this, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to get a Patreon. I think Carhinio. I think so. Thank you for your. I'll try to be on your. Love your accent. Cheers. I think people are born able. No, Adam. No. You, Adam, you're going to follow me, and I am going to turn your life around. And just for that reason, Adam, you have to follow me. You're going to follow me for 3 weeks, not even 3 months, and I'll get you drawing like a legend. He's like, really? I will, guaranteed. Draw my profile. No, I'm not drawing your profile. I need to go. Anyway, I hope you guys and girls really enjoyed that. I'm not going to draw your profile picture. I can do that for you too, but you have to follow me. That's all you have to do. If you don't follow me, I can't help you. Good. I need to go. I need to go and get shaved up. I've got to go to work. I've still got another hour or so, but I don't want to stress myself out. And thank you to all that have joined me. It was really, really, really fun. We had covered some good stuff here. I will post this on my TikTok, and I'll post a video on my YouTube. So if you missed it, check it out. I wish you all a lovely day, and don't get frustrated. Keep practicing. I will be practicing as well. All right. It's a long process. We're in it for the long game. Take care, everyone. God bless. Bye-bye.